Ladies and gentlemen, if you cast your mind back to this time last year, we welcomed you in the auditorium downstairs as the coolest place in Wellington. In the Great Escape Cafe here, it's currently the hottest place in Wellington, in more ways than one. The air conditioning is working overtime with all these lovely windows that we've got up here. And if you were here last weekend and saw the rest of the development up here, I'm sure that you will have been as impressed as we all were with the development. So thank you for coming along today to the AGM. We'll have a short AGM where we have some business to attend to, and I'll hand over to John. And then afterwards, once all the voting and the technicalities are over with, we'll just have an open Q&A where you can ask all the questions that you like. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Hello. Can you hear me at the back? Got a shake of head there. Hi everyone. Hello, and thanks for attending the annual general meeting of the Clifton Community Arts Centre Limited Trades as Wellington Orbit. It's my second AGM as chair. Now, we sent out the annual report to you all. Hopefully you've had a chance to have a look and peruse it. Okay? Some have. Oh, right, okay. Good. It's all good challenge. The first thing I need to remind you is that covers the period to the end of December 2025, and the orbit looked very, very different at the end of December 2025, as I'm sure you'll recall. And then the accounts for that year were signed off after the usual wrangling, the toing and froing, the scratching of head from Mr. Hughes in April. And the orbit looked very, very different in April as well, as I'm sure you're aware. And normally we'd have held this AGM round about that time, end of May, or earlier in June, but we decided to hold it back until the extension was open, so that we could have it in this hothouse this afternoon. But you've had a chance, I think, also to have been able to consider the formal report and accounts, and also in most cases had a chance to have a look around and see what's changed since they were actually prepared. As I say, the report records the position at the year end. When the accounts were signed, things were rather different. It wasn't entirely clear back then that we were going to get to an end with the work. It was all still in progress and underway. But today we can see that much of that progress has been made. The principal works are complete. The major extension is open, and we're in a very different place now. There's more to do. There's a little bit of the second floor that needs to be addressed, but we have what we have at the moment in terms of this fine room that we're in now, the arts studio named for Fiona Hunter, and of course the other rooms around the floor. There's still snagging and follow-up work, and talking to our colleagues at the Anstice, I think they were snagging for about 6 years. That won't be the case here, I'm sure. We've been very keen to follow up with the contractors, but we've moved now from the promise to the reality, to the actual use of the building, and it's been great to see. And Andy, I think you were saying it was really good to see the Pilates class in action, and there's more people kind of signing up than I think we know what to do with at the moment. I think we are working our way through the applications and the interest, and this building is going to be thriving and full of life, and I'm really glad to see it. And you can walk into the spaces. I invite you to. They're cooler than here, but people can enjoy them. They can hire them. They can help us make the whole operation work for Wellington. Oof. So 2025 then was a demanding year. We had all the redevelopment work. It took a lot of time and effort and a lot of heartache, as we had to reshape the budget to fit the art of the possible, essentially. Once we understood the true condition of the building, once we understood what it would take to make the building watertight, and a lot of the money has gone on things that are perhaps invisible as a result of that. And as I say, originally the plan had been to do both floors in one fell swoop, but we've had to defer that, which is disappointing. We have got a renovated room upstairs or so, which is the management office for Damien, and we've got plans for the rest of it, and we're working on it, is all I can say. And one thing I think you do know about this board is if we're working on something and we say we're going to do something, then it gets done. So far, so good. It was a responsible decision, I think, to make sure that we at least protected this and got it done. Otherwise, we'd just be pushing and never really getting anything that we could use. And our job, I think, is to protect the Orbit's operation, protect what we have here, whilst maximising what we can do with the money available and getting the best outcome we could for Wellington. I repeat.
For the recording.
For the record, for the tape, for the purposes of the tape, can you hear me at the back? I will list our funders and partners, and our thanks go to Telford and Wrekin Council, of course, for the support in getting this part of the building off the ground. Capital Regeneration Programme itself, Veolia for the lift. Who used the lift today? Hands up. What's the point of the lift then? Oh, well, thank God for that. Thank you, Ray. Shropshire and Telford Community Energy. You're all sprinting up the stairs like mountain goats. I never thought that would be the case. But here we are. Obviously, Paveways and their subcontractors, many of whom are local anyway, and have become, regulars, quite honestly, if only to help us unstick the doors and fix various bits and pieces. But no, it was good, and I'm looking over at you, Damien, there, and I think you represent the whole of the team. I'm afraid you can sit down. You haven't got to pause. It's okay. But keeping the cinema and the cafe and everything running through the construction was not elegant. I don't think I saw you without a hard hat on for a good 10 months solid, except when you were working in your little office just at the entrance of the Orbit there. It wasn't elegant, but we did it, and all credit to you for that. So operationally, then, as you might imagine, it wasn't without impact. It was a mixed year in terms of our performance, but resilient. Ray will no doubt expand on that. Cinema turnover rose a bit, but footfall was naturally down, particularly when we had to drop the afternoon showings, which an awful lot of people really, really like. They like to be able to come into Wellington and out again before it gets too dark. But we, for a short period, we lost the ability to do that while we were pushing the deadline on the work. And the cafe was even more heavily affected. We were down to coffee and sandwiches at one point, and couldn't wash dishes. We had to use paper cups, etc., etc. And throughout, the seating was reduced due to Damien's sequestering of a quarter of the floor there, just for his computer and all of his stuff and his bloody hard hat. But we came through it. It's predictable, and we were expecting it. And actually, when we were putting the original plans together, the worst case scenario was a shutdown. And we didn't have to do that, for which I'm extremely grateful. It's been hard, but I remain grateful to Damien, the volunteers, team, for their forbearance. Now, financially, as I say, Ray will tell you more, but I think we've come through in a slightly stronger position than might have reasonably been expected. But that's been helped by some exceptional items. There was a very generous one-off donation. And obviously we're grateful for that, but we're not complacent. This place needs to wash its face. We're going to operate, and we're going to make money, which will then be ploughed back into Wellington. That's the long-term answer to our own sustainability, is to make a place that the community can use, make our own impact, just put our own stamp on Wellington, and derive an income from that. So not through one-off support, welcome though that is, of course. And we're moving now from securing the building, making it watertight. I've just been killing time, Heather, till you got here, honestly. Thank goodness you're here. Honestly, I've been spinning. Funding the work and just plain getting through the build. Now we're going to move the focus, and now we're going to focus on using these spaces and getting people into the art studio and making the most of it. Getting people into the gallery cafe. There was a quiz here on Monday night. Did anybody come to the quiz on Monday night? I didn't come to the quiz on Monday night. I was supposed to. That was the worst thing about it is my team won and I wasn't there, which we don't usually win. I think we've worked out what the problem is now. But there you go. But proving our impact, and actually that actually boosts our demand, if you will, for more volunteer effort and more work in that department. The annual report, the written report, raise piece in there, obviously recognises the monetary value of volunteer time. You can put a number on it, but the real value is harder to measure. It's the patience, the welcome that you get, the engagement, the local knowledge. That whole ethos of what you get when you come to the orbit, and there's no real money value on that. The other thing I wanted to call out in terms of the team was Tash. I'd like to acknowledge Tash, who was losses recorded in the report. She was with us for quite a short time, really, but made a heck of an impact. A real impression. She was warm and capable. We remember her with great affection, and I have to say, we went to her wake or memorial, and I've never been to a memorial with a bouncy castle before. But I think it was very much a measure of her personality and the esteem that she was held in, and people really enjoyed themselves, which is a strange thing to say. It's quite bittersweet, really. But yeah, Tash will be missed. So, coming to the end of this, you'll be glad to hear. Looking ahead, our priorities are quite clear. We want to fill the first floor with activity, with a programme of events and classes and new things to come and see. Get some exhibits on this gallery wall of ours here. Strengthen our partnerships, build and develop, and do more with what we've got here. And we are laser focused, I would say, on getting our eyes on the rest of the funding needed to complete the building. Up on the second floor, there's another studio to the same sort of standard, if maybe slightly smaller than the current art studio we've got. So we want another one of those, along with other flexible rooms. And my own personal ambition is to at least get an eyeball on where the funding might come from this calendar year. So we're working hard on that and talking to various suppliers, funders, donors, the likes of the Arts Council, to see if we can squeeze their shoes a bit and get some funding out of them. Operationally, we're running a bigger business now, so we're going to need better reporting, better systems. There are new till systems going in as I speak, and out again, and then back in again. And better governance as the organisation grows, because we've done brilliantly on informal arrangements that work well, but we're moving from a small organisation now to a medium-sized organisation. So we need to do a little bit more than that if we can, because otherwise things start to creak and people end up getting very flustered trying to keep all the plates spinning, because the workload goes up, as you might imagine, and the expectation only goes in one direction, only goes up, and we want to rise to that. And we want to keep growing our membership. We've got a community benefit society here, of which you're all members. It belongs to you, and through yourselves we belong to Wellington. The more local people that we can bring in as members, the better it is for us, the stronger we become, the more rooted we become, the more of a case we can make to the likes of the government and the Arts Council and whoever else that what they do in terms of investing in the orbit actually really has an impact locally in Wellington. Have a lemon dream. So, annual report. is before you sets out a clear vision. We're going to use the whole building. We're going to remain financially responsible. We're going to develop our volunteers. We're encouraging further membership. We're contributing to the regeneration of our town and help people love Wellington as well as live in Wellington. Still quite ambitious, but frankly, that's okay. I mean, if we only ever did the easy things, none of us would be sitting here right now. So, you know, we will continue and we will persist. We are honest about the challenges. We know it's not easy. We know it's not easy getting money out of the government when all the funding seems to be needed for very many other things. But I won't resign if Keir doesn't give me the 1.6 billion I need. We'll survive, we'll adapt, and we'll grow. We've restored this building, we've opened this space, and now we're going to make it work. And thank you, in closing, to my fellow directors, all of whom are here, more or less, many of whom are here. This is as core as we've been for quite some time. I like it. Look at this lot. You're not going to see a better looking set of directors anywhere. Thank you. And to the team, your team, Damien, staff, the volunteers, to yourselves as members, funders, or donors, customers and supporters. I commend the annual report and accounts to the meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. No. Oh, okay, go on then. Right.
Not too much of room stopping.
I'm gonna take a register. Well, not really. There'll be a paper making its way around. If you can write your names on it so that we know who's attended.
There will be one.
Really soon. And in the meantime, I'll give you some apologies from Jan Williams, Anne Withington, Gareth Bellamy, Stephen and Christine McIntosh, Elizabeth Wilkinson, but she wants to pass on her thanks for all of our hard work. You're welcome. Richard Camp, Lynn and Libby from the team, Carol from the team, Lynn Potts and Jackie Evans. So they're registered as apologies for absence. Hopefully you'll put your names down as apologies for attending. And I think we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the minutes of the last meeting. Now, I know you've all read those, and I want to know if I have a proposer that these are a true record of the meeting at the last AGM of the Clifton. You were there. You made your presence felt. And I've got a proposer there in the form of David J. Staniforth. Do I have a seconder? Rob is seconding. All those in favour? Those against? Those against? It's carried. NEMCON. Well, we'll just wait while you flick through them then. Give it a go, you know. Are there any matters arising from the minutes that are not likely to come out, for example, in the Q&A after or anything else? Anything specific? No? Anybody else want to ask Dave about his daughter's involvement in Top Gun? That was a big ticket item last year, wasn't it? It was indeed, yeah, you see, you remember it now. Was it not Top Gun? Mission Impossible. Listen, they're all the same, aren't they, those Tom Cruise movies? Okay, the next subject on the agenda then is to move to the adoption of the accounts. So for that, I'm going to pass to my colleague, Ray Hughes, who may have a comment or two to make into the microphone.
Okay, does that work? Is that working, Liam? Yeah, okay. Right, thank you. Yeah, the adoption of the accounts. Just to let you know that these days, since the Companies Act of 2006 was enacted, there's no need for the shareholders to approve the accounts. But we've always done it in the past, and we might as well carry on doing it. The accounts were published on the website some time ago. I know some of you read it, particularly Mr. Saunders, who's gone through it with a fine tooth comb. You ought to realise a number of times we proofread them time and time again, and there's always something that is actually missing. What Rob didn't point out was on pages 16 and 17, or that roundabout there, there's a picture of Rob and myself actually shaking hands on the award from Shropshire and Telford Community Energy. The only problem is Rob's backside is on the next page. Well, it's probably your backside was on it anyway, Rob. Yeah. So yeah. But besides that, yeah. I mean, John, to some extent, has summed up what last year was. Obviously, the accounts are a snapshot as at a particular date, which here was the 31st of December, and covers all the events in the previous year. As John's already said, I don't really need to sort of do any sort of great deal. Obviously, 2025 was another transitional year. We've had transitional years since about 2022, and 2026 will be another transitional year when we actually finish the redevelopment in that year. And now we're going to move on in 2026 to actually milk the asset as opposed to reduce the asset. I think I would just say that we did remarkably well to make a profit, considering all the disruption we had in the previous year. Operationally, we're still loss-making, but we make it up through donations and also an accounting adjustment for the lift, where all the engineering work with that was written off straight away, quite rightly, in accordance with accounting principles. And that meant that overall, what we've got now is our retained profits, share capital and retained profits, are roughly about 680,000, which is pretty good considering we had 44,000 in 2018. So we've done really well to get that. And that means effectively we're going nowhere because we've got a fully owned building without any mortgage, any sort of security offered on it as well. And we have actually succeeded in the last year in actually increasing our profits, albeit more or less by accounting adjustment, but we have. This year, I would anticipate we'll make a loss this year. We've only got £680,000 capital reserves. That would be not totally unacceptable. We did actually make a small profit for the first quarter of the year in 2026. In this year, this quarter, I expect quite a substantial loss because, first of all, the films haven't been the best, and also we've actually incurred further expenditure to get the place up and running. Over the year as a whole, I think there'll be a loss, but it won't be catastrophic anyway. I think that's all I need to say about the accounts. Hopefully you've seen them. If you don't, I would recommend you have a read of them. And I'd also like to compliment, as I always do, or always should do, compliment Andy Smith for actually putting them into a readable format with the associated photographs, which makes it more a set of accounts for a community business than just a bland sheet of paper. Okay, I think that's it. If anyone wants any questions, please let me know. Besides Rob Saunders. Yeah.
Okay. As you say, we don't need to vote on them anymore, do we? No. So should we move on without take the vote, or would you like the traditional show of hands? I'd agree. And so I have a proposer for the accounts, adoption of the accounts. That's fantastic. That's Rob Saunders there, everybody, approving or proposing the approval of the accounts. Do I have a seconder? I don't know your name, sir. It's the mayor. You look different without your chain of office on there, Reg. Sorry, sir. I was expecting an older man. Sorry. You know you've got to do a speech after this. Apologies. Then I have a seconder. All those in favour? Those against? No. Carried them con. The next item on the agenda is the application of the profits rate. So you're going to talk to that.
I will do, yeah.
Thank you very much. There it is. You're absolutely right.
There's always a question when you actually make a profit in the accounts.
what you do with the accounts. You can do several things. Pay it out as a dividend, which we don't do, apply it for certain purposes. What I suggest is that we actually use the increased profits for the continuation and development of the society going forward. So we're not actually reducing the level of profitability for the year.
So just reiterate that for. Yeah. So we reapply it to the business. Yeah, essentially. Okay, that makes sense. And is that something that requires a vote? Okay, because somebody I know, please propose. Thank you, David. But now we're friends. I have a seconder there in form of the mayor. Thank you, Reg. Whoever you are. Yeah, right. Thank you. Okay, and I'd like people to vote in favour of that proposal, and it is carried. Thank you. Those against? No, Graham. Put your hand down. Okay, that's fine. We come to the final item of the formal agenda before we move to the Q&A section, followed by the swimsuit round, and that is the re-election of some of the directors to the board. Directors are elected for a period of 3 years, after which point they need to put themselves back up for election or for re-election to the board. I have three of our directors who have served that term and are up for re-election. We've got from our youth team, Phil Morris-Jones. We've got a hard-eyed old stager in the form of Liam McClellan here, and Bill Graham, many of whom you'll know, but who's off in our remote office in was it Yeovil? Where is it? Was it Devon? He's gone to Devon, but he thanks to the magic of Teams and the remote working and all of that, he's still a very active member of the board, and has been I can vouch for it. It's been all over the phase 2 work to an extent that you wouldn't believe. There's nothing that man doesn't know about a dance floor. Take it from me. Now, so I would like to propose that Phil, Bill, and Liam are re-elected to the board for a new period of 3 years. So again, does that require a proposer and seconder? Do I have a proposer? What's his name? Robert something. Rob Saunders. And a seconder. Thank you, Reg. Can I put that then to the assembled team? Are you happy to vote in favour of returning these three to their constituencies to prepare for governing the orbit? That's fantastic. Thank you very much, and welcome back. Welcome back. I think it was in the balance there for you for a little minute. I've got to say, yeah. So fortunately, that brings the AGM to a close, and thank you very much indeed for staying in and persevering through what is 27 degrees of heat here, which doesn't seem right. But hey, that's the weather for you. And I'm now going to open up the floor for Q&A. And Andy, are you going to organise that?
Here we are. This is being recorded, so if you have a question, I'll come running up to you with the microphone. You can wait until the microphone is right in front of your face before you answer the question for the recording. That would be great. So has anybody got any questions for the board? Great. Thank you, Dave, for starting us off.
You mentioned the Arts Council as a potential source. Have we had any sort of funding from such bodies before? I know we've had this big grant from the regeneration and all that, but are those arts sort of bodies more sort of, rather than general funding, more the arts bodies which this now significantly plays into?
Well, and Ray can probably speak more eloquently on this than I can, but I'll have my 2 minutes and pass the microphone over. short answer is we haven't had anything out of the Arts Council yet, but we've had a lot of dialogue with the Arts Council. In fact, we had a meeting with the regional chiefs or head of the Arts Council, and thanks to the intervention of the likes of Mark Pritchard and others, we're in a very good place in terms of talking to them about what our plans have been for the orbit. And I think it's a question now of waiting for the right opportunity in terms of the sorts of monies they make available. Outside of that, there are other organisations such as the Architectural Heritage Foundation who have made some monies available and are likely to do so again. There's a whole kind of panoply of these people, lottery funding, various other bodies that we can approach. The Arts Council's always been one where it's been a difficult nut to crack, but I think whilst we haven't seen the colour of their money yet, we've made some really good headway with them this year, and they definitely know we're here. We're definitely on their map and on their radar, so I'm expecting good things. Ray, is there anything?
Yeah, say a bit more. Right. Yeah, in the immediate past, the Arts Council has underinvested quite heavily in Telford and Wrekin as a whole, not just us. And we actually put some pressure on the Arts Council. I don't know whether that affected it, but the Arts Council have what's called priority places, where they will actually introduce more money to those places because of the underinvestment. And in the last fortnight or so, Telford and Wrekin has been made a priority place, which means that we may well get further funding because of that. I think one of the issues we've had in Telford and Wrekin is that even those people who've actually got money have done their exhibitions and performances outside Telford and Wrekin, which makes the position even worse. Now that we got this building, we're hoping that the facility will make people perform and enact in Telford and Wrekin as well. And we have got one business that is looking to actually rent this room. It's not this room, the dance studio, on Sundays on a regular basis. And they've already had £70,000 from the Arts Council. So I can see a multiplier effect going on in the future. But the position was unacceptable going in the past, but hopefully we'll be moving more positively forward in the future.
Thank you. Anybody else? Got a question? Yes, Mary.
Thank you. Obviously, I'm just interested in how you're going to manage an extension of your volunteer team and what systems you're going to put in to manage volunteers, being involved heavily myself in various volunteer escapades. It's just good to know that you're going to be focusing on what you're going to be focusing on and how you're going to use volunteers in the new floor.
You and me both. So currently we have around 45 to 50 volunteers for the cafe cinema operation that we know and love, and we do need to expand, and we're looking at ways and means of doing that. We actually have a small wait list of people who are interested in coming in, and just this week we've been connected to there's a volunteer list that the council operate where they have a register of people, and they kind of look to give them 15 hours of volunteering experience a week in various areas. And for whatever reason, because blimey, we talk to the council every week, we hadn't made that connection, but that has now been put in place. So I'm expecting to talk to them about how we might be able to help. I mean, what's important to us is that there's something in it for the volunteers, that they can come in and perhaps pick up like a hygiene MVQ from the kitchen work or something like that, or we've got a lot of quite good stories of people who come in, struggle to talk to people, but over a few weeks working in the orbit with our clientele, that they end up with a gang of old friends, and the confidence levels go through the roof. The trick is going to be in organising them, and it's what I was saying before in my remarks that we've got by on notebooks and calendars and all of that up to now, but we're going to have to get a little bit more sophisticated now that there's 2 floors to manage and various groups of volunteers to kind of shepherd around. So we're looking at ways and means of doing that. I haven't got a magic wand on that, but we know we're going to have to look at maybe some technology to an extent over and above, what's up in a notebook. But we will. And if you've got any suggestions from other walks of life where you've volunteered, then I'm sure we'd be interested in hearing how it's handled elsewhere. I know the church have ways and means. But I haven't. I'll leave it there. But no, I'm thinking prayer. Well, there's an option. I'm thinking we'll probably need to at least half as many again, maybe double the number of volunteers that we've currently got. But the more the merrier, really. It's managing them. Yeah. So we have. So Lynn's role in the team is the volunteer coordinator, and I guess you all know Lynn, and her, one of her jobs is to keep all of that going, and which means occasionally she has to kind of move them around or search for a late replacement if somebody can't make a particular shift. But we've managed very well up to now. We're not. We know we've got a bigger job to run now, a bigger business to operate, but we're hoping to rise to the occasion.
I think just to follow on from that, John, one of the successes that we've seen with volunteers here at the Orbit is the moving through from first coming in as a volunteer, moving through to become very valued staff members, and occasionally moving through and off to pastures new. But it's great to help people with these kind of life events, and I think they all leave here with a very fond memory of the team and of course the customers who are absolutely great with our staff members and our volunteers. And I don't know if you've noticed, we have a new staff member, Eliza, and if you follow the Orbit on social media, you'll see some of the work that she's been doing, including encouraging Damien to interview some sheep. And her brief is to try and build the footfall and also help with the new space that we've got here. And she's settled in extremely quickly.
I think, as we mentioned Tash, I think also we ought to make mention of Dan. Most people know Dan. Dan joined us. He was our third longest serving volunteer after Anne Withington and Joe. And in March, he emigrated to Spain. So he's not with us anymore, which is a shame. But he came as a really sort of shy, young man. And no one can accuse Dan of being shy by the time he finished. So I think it's right to pay tribute to him and say that we miss him. But also we recognise that Dan is the epitome of what we do in developing people and increasing their confidence. Yeah.
Thank you. We have to mention football, don't we? So Gareth Southgate had a recent TV programme, and it's been in the news about Leeds.
We have to mention football, don't we? Sir Gareth Southgate, the former England manager, has recently been on TV, and there's been a lot of coverage of NEETs, not in employment, education or training. And I'm just wondering, the idea only came into my head a few moments ago, so it's not thought through, but I guess the job centre has got people looking for employment, but maybe struggling to get experience, and there may be an opportunity to take advantage of that for the job centre's benefit, the individual's benefit, and
No? Well, yeah, Rob, you're right. We actually, Landau over the way there, who do place people, have placed some with us, and more than welcome, because the experience they get here is unique, really. And we are trying to strengthen our relationships with the likes of Telford College as well, so that we can sort of tie in a little bit of the a bit of the education as well as that work experience, and broaden the demographic out a little bit, because we've got some of the older community who've got spare time, but we've got a lot of the younger community who are doing it kind of outside of school and training and such like. But I think we're always open to anyone that wants to come in. You're right that there's experience that can be gained. We've got people who have gone on to quite excellent work as a sort of a positive attrition step from working here and into jobs either in education or radio or all kinds of stuff. So it's good. I don't think we can advertise per se in a job centre, but we're going to make a lot more of making sure people are aware that if they want to come and volunteer, we want to talk to them. In fact, Liam and Damien, myself and Eliza actually were at an event earlier today, and I got my ear bent by somebody who put an application in and hadn't heard back. He said, "Well," I said, "When did you put it in?" He said, "Oh, end of May, beginning of June." I said, "Well, we've been a bit busy this week, but he's keen." So I think we'll be seeing that chap come in, and yeah, the more areas we can get our message out and across, and that's probably down to Eliza, that volunteering is something that you probably quite enjoy if you come to the Orbit. Then it's just heavy discount on the coffee if you volunteer, heavy discount. It's a fantastic, and so come and try it. I think you'll see with some of the initiatives that are being discussed now. I think you'll see an increase in our volunteers. The important thing for me is that we keep the special sauce, we keep the DNA. I don't really want people to not enjoy coming to the Orbit and talking to the staff. I think that would be a terrible thing. But good call on your part. We're open, and it's a two-way street. People get the benefits of working for us, and we get the benefits of working with them.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm sure you didn't mean to, but one of the people we forgot to thank was the Wellington Town Council, and we have a very strong relationship with those, and it's make no mistake about it, way back it was their intervention that helped us purchase the building, and we've gone on from strength to strength. I'd like to thank Reg, he takes a personal interest in it apart from being the mayor, and I think we'd welcome the fact that Damien is working with them on outside events as well. And we have this absolutely fantastic relationship with the local council. And I think that's absolutely fine. No politics. Let's get on and do the job. And that's what we'll continue to do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you cut the ribbon last week. Feels like a long time ago now. But yeah, we owe a lot to Wellington Town Council. The support has to continue. I've lived in Wellington a very long time now, and I've always felt we never really got our turn. That you see Madeley and other parts of Telford seem to have that spark and investment, but I feel that we are really getting our fair shake now, and it's great to see the changes that are happening in the town. And I'm glad that the Orbit's a big part of that. But the council deserve an awful lot of credit for keeping the faith.
Okay, and anybody else before we wrap up? I think you've drained them of all the questions, John.
And the will to live, I should do. Thanks for coming, everybody. I really appreciate it. I did promise I'd make you all sing the Pearl and Dean "Ba Ba Ba Ba" song, but I don't think we've got the energy there. But if you want to do it, we could all go in a chorus of that. No, anybody? Ba 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 ba. No, okay. On that note, thank you all for coming. I'm so delighted that we're in the new space for this one. And if I play my cards right, we might be on the second floor for the next one, and on the roof for the one after that. Thank you all for coming. Of course.
Just on behalf of all the members of the Orbit, and there are many of us, a great big thank you to all of you for all the hard work that you've done, and to get us to this point from where we started in the Belmont Hall with 6 to get us to this point, it's incredible, it really is, and it means such a lot. I've had this conversation with Damien only the other day. To people like me and my friend, it means the world to us to come here. We love it. We love the cinema and we love the community. We love coming in and chatting to Damien, getting some abuse, but it's really, I can't thank you enough for what you've done. And we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.